This is the Chubby Chernobyl. This is more of a natural color. I've always liked to use Chubby Chernobyls because they're large. You can see them on the water. They cast very nicely because they're a heavier dry fly, bigger dry fly. I like to cast them on a 6 weight because I can get them further, and they're perfect for having a little dry dropper rig. So having like a little maybe half-foot rig below it with either an emerger or a nymph, depending on your style. A lot of times I'll fish these alone just to kind of scout for fish, you know, get a swipe or something and kind of show me where the fish are. And then if they don't eat as much as I want them to, then you know, I can tie something else on that'll get them. Today I'm going to be starting off with a size 6 hook, curved hook. That's what I'm using there for anyone interested. With this fly, I kind of found that I like to go big or don't fish it at all, because there's no use to a Chubby Chernobyl if you're not going to fish it big, because that's what it's meant for. It's meant for not just the fish to be able to see it well, but for you to be able to see it well. I'm tying with black GSP today. I would suggest tying with a little bit thicker of a thread, just because once you get the body done and you got to crank down on the foam afterwards, it will allow you to put a lot of pressure on that foam. I'm going to start about 2 eyelet lengths behind. So I've got my array of dubbings here, just a little dubbing. I'm actually going to do a white belly. So what you're going to do is you're just going to get pinch full, not a lot because you don't want a ton on the head. Everyone thinks a Chubby Chernobyl should have a really, really big body, but really, I found I don't like them to have the big body. A little more annoying to handle, a little more to cast, a little more annoying to tie. So I'm not going to do too much of a body. Alright, so once I get just before the shank of the hook there, sorry, the bend of the hook there, you're going to do about 3 eyelets length down of the dubbing. I'm just going to do like 3 passes over it, maybe 4 passes over it, just to get a little bit of a thread kind of. If your dubbing's really loose, this is a synthetic dubbing, so it's going to be. I like to just take a very tiny bit of a pinch full and just very lightly cut the top off, just because I don't want my body going crazy and kind of ruining my wraps later once I get to the foam body. Then we're going to take one more pinch full of dubbing here, and we're just going to do then you're going to take your foam. So today I'm using a thin, very floaty, I guess is a good way to put it, tan foam is what I'm going to use for the top of the body. Got my scissors here. I'm going to have it just about 2 eye lengths, just about even with the shank or bend of my hook, whatever you like to call it. I'm going to do 3 light wraps, and I'm going to pull it somewhat tight. You want to be careful not to cut that foam. Lay it out somewhat flat. Then, in my opinion, the most important part of a Chubby Chernobyl. So I'm going to take just kind of like a natural brown colored leg here. A little messy, but it'll do. And that's going to give it a little bit, not just a natural color, but these are indicators. You're not really copying anything specific here. So the nice thing with having the legs is it gives it a little bit more wide variety of what it can copy or impersonate. So with the legs, everyone tries to wrap it around themselves. What you actually do is you want to wrap it around your thread, and then you can pull it up and pull it around the last wrap you did, and what that'll do is it kind of snug it in for you. Then I'm going to do 1 more wrap, 2 more wraps. Now that I have the legs on, we're going to tie the wing on. So I'm going to go with a light wing here, a white one, just to kind of keep this a light natural pattern, early season pattern. This is just kind of poly yarn that I use for parachute. I'm just going to grab it tight. with your offhand, hold it to the length that you want it. You do 2 light wraps, just like before. Pull it tight. Nice thing with that GSP, it ain't gonna snap on you. So you can pull it as tight as you want. Cut the axis off. You want a little bit left. It kind of gives it a nice bit of a nice look. Then, once you get that wing on, we can go back with your dubbing. And with that dubbing, we're just gonna give it 1 or 2 wraps, like so. Whatever you need put on there, just to hide those thread wraps before. Then you're gonna put more dubbing on. You're gonna pull back your foam there just to get out of the way because you don't want to damage that foam. It's important looks there. It's a big part of the fly. You're going to take a little bit of dubbing once again just to hide it. You're going to pull that foam back over. You're going to do 3 light wraps around it and pull it tight. And that right there is where we're going to put the next legs. So you can do the same thing that you did before. Pull it around the thread, pull it over, and just get it set where you want. Depending on how many legs you want to do. I've tied legs up front, I've tied legs on the back, I've done them on neither, I've done them on both. It's just kind of like how you want your chubby to look. I'm going to get those threads done there. Then I'm going to take foam a lot thicker, 1/8 white foam. I'm going to cut just a very tiny triangle out of it. Just like that. You can see it compared to the head. Then I'm just going to hold it over my thread. Once again. With this one, since it's a thicker foam, I'm going to keep it tight the whole time because it does like to kind of rebound on you. I'm going to pull it nice and tight, let the weight of your bobbin hold it down. Then I'm going to do 1 more last dub of the fly. I'm going to push it up. Make sure you don't hit your legs. Just like so. You can pull that dubbing tight so it goes in between that head. Then what we're going to do, you're going to wrap that dubbing up to the head, actually in front of the head, where you are going to tie off your fly. Last thing to do is go back, make sure you don't have any odd length legs. You can trim up this is where you get the trim stuff, make it look pretty. Trim up the wing there, and the best part is to just cut that head. I like to do it just even with that eyelet. And there you go. Chubby Chernobyl. It's a very, what's a good way to put it? Unorganized fly. There's stuff hanging off everywhere. Fly, that's how you want it. That's your Chubby Chernobyl. You can add it to your box.